Wow. 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 That's amazing. You all are amazing. That was beautiful to go through all those comments and experience that. So happy to be here this morning. This morning in the live stream, I'm going to link. I'm making a mental note here. I'm going to link this morning's live stream in the description of this training session because obviously I did the build up to today's training session in that video. That video was absolutely, I enjoyed it. And that's what I do. It's to help me and it's to help me achieve my goals here in the markets, staying sharp, staying on top of the pulse of the market. In this video here, I'm going to talk about what is going on with myself. It was not forced. It's just what's happening. It's just where I found myself all yesterday afternoon thinking about going over charts. And then as I was going over the charts, I was like, man, I wish I could share this with all of CTM, right? And I'm doing that with this part of CTM. I'm not doing this out on the whatever. I'm doing it here for us, and this is where I'm focused at. There are some things maybe that will be said about what I'm doing that I don't want said out in public. That's all fine. That's all good. I'm here to share it with us. I hope you enjoy it. I wanted to start with this. Gene shared this. This was a couple of months before I called the bottom, Novogratz, on November 6, 2018. Right? November 6, 2018. I don't remember when I have. Here we go.
Please go to moon. Stop going sideways now. Don't ever say we going down to 1K, but Mr. Novogratz say we have bottomed out. Novogratz is bullish. Bottomed out. Don't ever rise is deadish.
Bearish target, 13 times there.
Novogratz is bullish.
Bitcoin could be at 40,000.
Let us go to moon.
And that's beautiful. And that's where we're going. And we're going to enjoy it. And we deserve it. It's funny. And it is funny because people are like, well, Tony Vitt, I don't listen. I listen to people who have a history of being correct. Right? That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on Signal. I'm focused on CTM. Right? There will be a bubble. There will be a bubble. We're not in that bubble yet. I think we're still under the low of the coming bear market, which means that Bitcoin is still cheap. Bitcoin is still, I can't get it out of my head, Gene. I had to play it again. I love the memes coming out of the Bitcoin community. Obviously, the Doge community, way better. All right. Anyway, just want to have a little bit of fun with you as I relax myself into this and what's going on. First of all, this is a work in progress. Everything I'm sharing here is very important, but understand that it's all a work in progress. I don't force anything. I let the market show me. There are many things that I do know, and there are a couple, and you'll see when we get towards the later end of the section, that I don't know yet. Okay? And I don't have to. All right. Now, of course, we did, and we looked at this morning, in the 3 ways to trade the bull market phase, there were 3 different strategies. Is this 3 ways to trade the bear market phase? I don't know. We're far from putting a title. That title will not come until we're positioned in and we're getting ready over here, right? First thing to focus on right now is when that exit is coming. That's my focus. That's why I've been spending so much time on Bitcoin lately, as I said I would way in advance, because it's important for me to the only way I'm going to get out at the top is if I'm on the pulse, as we've been, right? It's the only way. So some people take issue with what markets I choose to look at. That's fine. I'm not here to look at a market that you might want to look at. I'm here to do what I need to do what I do. So that all being said, at the exit over here, the question is, what do you diversify into? Is this strategy number 1 just exiting into a stable coin, right? Taxable event. Most people paying capital gains. Some people paying ordinary income. Exiting at the top. Do you enter into a stable coin and then collect interest in BlockFi, on Gemini, or somewhere else? I mean, that's like strategy number 1 for the bull market. For many people, that's obviously the easiest route, and it's a good one. That's what I would advise my mom to do, right? I would advise my mom to do that, and she would do exceedingly well. It's a good strategy, right? What about strategy number 2? Strategy number 2 was a little bit more advanced, right? So there are going to be some things said, and we're just going to listen. What I do is I look at markets, I look at price, what ways you go about, skinning the cat. That's up to you. What brokers you use, what exchange you use, how you do it. I'm not getting into any of that stuff with any of you, as I don't get into taxes with any of you. I'm not an advisor or anything like that, right? Does it make sense for some people maybe to set up corporations in different jurisdictions and then be able to get onto different on-ramps that they didn't have the ability to before? Yeah, do your own research. Figure out what you got to do. You have a lot of time right now. We're talking about what? We've got about 8, 9, 10 months until the exit. That's a lot of time to prepare and figure out what you're doing. That's why I'm focused on what I'm doing right now and preparing for what I'm going to do. Nevertheless, listen, I've been looking at this chart for a long time with all of you. This is gold versus Bitcoin. And at this portion, I understand what we're looking here. However, what probably more than entering into a stable coin, and I'm going to explain why very clearly, right? For me, it won't be entering into a stable coin, right? And it will be gold, right? Now, how will that gold be played? First of all, there is, by the way, on Kraken, you have the ability to trade this pair right over here. On Kraken, it's Pax Gold versus XBT, PAG, XBT. That's available, right? Some people that have access to perhaps Forex brokers where you could change the base account, you all know, or many of you know, because that was back early in 2019, but late 2019, where I told everyone that, look, I'm trading a Bitcoin-based account. That's my account balance is in Bitcoin, and explained why. So going forward, maybe some people want to do that in gold. And I'm going to show you why right now. Maybe they, instead of Bitcoin, they want their account not in dollars. Could the dollar outperform gold in 2022 is the question you need to ask yourself. And I have no idea. It's possible the dollar could outperform gold. I don't think that's not my base case. But is it possible that gold could outperform the dollar? Yes, it is. But the thing about the dollar, and read this tweet from Luke. I didn't know how to share it. I had it saved for a live stream in the morning. But he said during the Roaring 20s, the U.S. was the biggest factory and creditor in the world. That role is now played by China. The U.S. is now the world's biggest debtor, a role played back then by Weimar Germany. Hyperinflation, Weimar Germany. German stocks ripped in that bull market. I've been telling you for a long time that it is quite possible. I made the analogy to Venezuela, that it's quite possible that the stock market under these circumstances continue to dizzying heights as they did in Venezuela, as the Venezuelan Bolivar went down to worthless, right? As the economy went worthless, stocks had, kept printing new all-time highs. Was that the best play against that inflation? Obviously not. Are stocks risky? Do I want to invest into stocks? What about tech, right? Do I want to exit into the equity markets? Do I want to exit into the NASDAQ? No, I don't. At the end of the day, even if they go up, they're going up simply because the dollar is being devalued. If there comes to a tipping point, and could that happen in 2022? Max Kaiser called for this year, 2021, for basically the ECB to fail. He said they won't call it a failure, but for all intents and purposes, it's going to fail. There'll be a new Plaza Accord 2.0. Could that all happen? Yes. Could it happen in 2020? Gold is the most manipulated asset there is that I know of in the markets, right? Stock markets are rigged, in my opinion, public markets, but gold is heavily manipulated. If there's a chance at any point that manipulation could break, you know that China, I've been vocal about this for the longest time, China and Russia accumulating gold monthly accumulating gold reserves for years, for many years, for several years now, right? Diversifying out of the dollar, U.S. treasuries, Russia completely diversified out now, right? So what happens if gold's repriced? Well, I would like to own gold at that point, right? If that were to happen. Is it possible the dollar's repriced? Will the dollar be repriced to the upside or downside? Right. Let's look at this though. I want you to, and this is the intermediate. This is the intermediate portion, and that's if you wish, right? An option would be holding gold and perhaps taking a short Bitcoin position. Now, I don't want to be out. I love Bitcoin. Everyone knows that. Obviously, I'm a Bitcoin advocate. I believe in Bitcoin more than I believe the staunchest, let's call them maximalist. I do. But I also know and understand. Generational wealth is not created by holding throughout the 4-year cycle. No, it's navigating that 4-year cycle to perfection. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing over here. Gold and Bitcoin. If you look at what happened, first of all, on gold during the last, let me pull up a chart of gold US dollar before I get going over here. Let me just switch over to gold over here. During the last bear market over here, basically we saw first gold rise versus the dollar, and then we saw over here the dollar rise strongly versus Bitcoin. Okay, so there was a portion of this bear market where the dollar was very strong versus gold, right? But at the end of the day, it was basically unchanged. This is where the bear market started. This is where the bear market ended, and gold was basically unchanged throughout that whole time. Now, if you look at that over here on gold on Bitcoin, right? Let me come down to 2017. Find the top for you. It should be on the daily chart. So here we are. December of 2017 is, where are we? December of 2017. Here's the bottom. Here's the top of the Bitcoin bull market. Here's the bottom of gold and Bitcoin. And you could see during that year, that 12 months of the bear market, that gold was up 450% versus Bitcoin. Now that's occurring, by the way. That's also occurring with that strong move against the dollar, where the dollar was way stronger than gold. So in this period from June of 2018 to August, you're seeing, and this is June to August. So this went sideways. Gold to Bitcoin went sideways during that period, right? 450% gain, 4x is nothing to sneeze at. What happens just into the middle of the range? 150%. Yeah, I like the option of being invested in gold over a stable coin, right? Forget the collecting the interest part. I'm looking at a 1.5x to a possible 4x. That was what happened last time. What would happen if gold was repriced during this time? What happens if what happens if gold's trading at $3,000 come 2022, the end of 2022? Forget about what this gain versus Bitcoin would be. It's a lot more attractive to me than holding dollars. However, it's also attractive to me to do everything lightly leveraged. And if that means having to put on some type of synthetic pair here by having to short Bitcoin to do that, I'm not in the habit of saying that I short Bitcoin. But in order to have a lightly leveraged position, if that account is based in gold and then I need to take a short Bitcoin position, lightly leveraged, that's what I'm doing. That's strategy number 2. And then number 3 is the part that I do not know, that I haven't really worked out completely, but have a very strong idea of what I'm looking for and how I'm going to do it. I want to share that with you. And that's shorting, that's going long Bitcoin during this phase versus altcoins. Right? Now, whether or not, when I say I don't know whether or not it's going to be the most liquid, high capped altcoins, right? Whoever they are at the time, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Litecoin, whether it's Cardano, right? Whatever it is, or if it's going to be picking out, maybe some of the weakest ones that I am able to short on margin and going with those. That part I don't know. And I have many months to figure that out. But I want you to see what happened over here. Right, this is Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is the top of the bull market over here. By the way, it's this 30-day window over here, more or less 30-day window when alts just cream Bitcoin, right? Right around the top of Bitcoin a couple of weeks before. Notice beforehand how strong Bitcoin was versus all alts. Is this something that I want to trade or probably not? This is a tradable event. You're going to see it across the board over here. This is XRP. This is that 30-day run against Bitcoin, right? And then over here, you could see the bear market. So am I looking to short this part? Am I looking to long this part? Yes, right? This is a tradable event, I think, over here. This one probably not for me. Probably just stay focused and in on Bitcoin. However, in this window over here, I know that I want the short during the bear market, right? Well, I don't know. But this is what I'm setting up for myself. So anyway, you have before it, though, an impressive move that occurs. And is that something I want to be positioned for? I don't know. I'm going to be considering that. Here's versus XRP. Here's versus Cardano. You can see that same move at the same time. And then that sets up the bear market. And you see Bitcoin in its bear market completely obliterate all altcoins. All altcoins. Right? So that's what I'm setting up. Here's Litecoin. Here's that move. By the way, you can see it. Is this a tradable event for a lot of people? I think so. I'm going to be holding Bitcoin for this. But as I get towards the top of the Bitcoin, I'll be tempted to trade this event, and I might. But I'm going to be looking for that top. This one was trickier. This one did not top out in January. This one topped out a little later in February on Litecoin over here. But then you have that ride over there. So that's, is it a combination of both? Is it at a particular exchange, a particular broker, just transferring into Pax Gold and collecting interest? Is it on another using a base account in gold and shorting Bitcoin lightly leveraged? And then is it on other places positioning in Bitcoin versus altcoins, right? Lightly leveraged, looking at, what is it? On average, I think it's like a 90%. No, that's only 72%. Is that the low of the bear market? I would be looking, by the way, to accumulate Bitcoin, to get back into Bitcoin right over here, right in this area, in this zone is where I'm going to accumulate. It's about 15. This is about 12 months, right? So I don't know what capital gains will be at that point. Hopefully, they're still under ordinary income. But either which way, setting up a trade that's going to last a duration of 12 months, I like that. In case I get to pay capital gains for that. Holding Bitcoin versus altcoins through here. And then transferring, going back all into Bitcoin. That's the next play I'm setting up. I think it's, to go over the chart yesterday, to be going, everything I just presented to you, to kind of just be like letting it come to me yesterday, is the most exciting thing to me going on right now. That's why I want to share it with you. That's it for my end. That's what I'm focused in on. That's what I'm dialed in on. I hope I was able to articulate it well. I think it's the most important piece of work up to date that I've shared with all of you. The last time I said that was when I released 3 ways to trade the Bitcoin bull market. So that is it, my friends. That is it. I want to see what other questions. Yeah. So Dylan, questions like this is for you to figure it out during this time. Yeah, you have the Discord channel if you want to, in crypto sections, kind of discuss that together. But that's not advice that I'm giving people or anything like that. Um, so that's a good question. Why not silver? If it didn't explode, I mean, I think 2021 is the year for silver, right? The question is, and I've said it ever since the Fed acted. Ever since the Fed acted, I said I believe that it's going to be at least 2 or 3 years before the gold bull market ends, right? That puts us somewhere where around 2022, 2023. That would be the earliest I believe that the precious metal bull market ends. Let's see if that happens. But I'd rather be if there's any time I'd rather own gold than silver, first of all, just like I'd rather own Bitcoin than anything else. Bitcoin lightly leveraged is the better trade for me. If you look what happened to silver when there was a little bit of market turmoil, it got absolutely wrecked. You remember back in March here we are. Where are we? Where there we are over here. This is silver getting gold was down 15% over here, and silver was down 40%. Right? So I'd rather own gold. It's less volatile. To the upside and downside, yeah, it's volatile enough to the upside, especially lightly leveraged. If I am using shorting Bitcoin against it, lightly leveraged, that's enough. I want to be with the smart trade, with smart steady profits, right? So when you say that the dollar value rises, Bitcoin will drop. What reason for this? Why would there be? Jason, if you're asking are you asking why is the Bitcoin bull market going to peak? You just have to go back to the Bitcoin playlist, learn about the 4-year cycle. I feel like you should know that already. But yeah, like I'm looking for the bull market to peak over here for sure. Jordan, when it's time for digital dollar, will there be a crisis? That's what I've said since the Fed acted in March. I believe the same, but can't the crisis be around Bitcoin after it sucks a lot of money and has a huge market? Bitcoin is a small market. It's a tiny market. Gold is what? Gold is like a $10 trillion market, right? It dwarfs Bitcoin by over 10x. Is it possible next bull market that Bitcoin overtakes the market cap of gold? Yeah. And at that point, Bitcoin is still a relatively tiny asset compared to comparing it to everything else. Now, Bitcoin is bigger right now than the Swiss franc. That's something. Bitcoin is obviously, it's right on time. But you guys are thinking way ahead many cycles. Is it possible the cycle after Bitcoin overtakes the market cap of gold, that it really becomes a player on the world stage? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm focused right over here. I'm dialed in right over here so that I could get out right over here. So I could get positioned to over here. So I could get positioned for over here and do this again. And then where are we going to be watching Bitcoin in the next bull market as it overtakes the market cap of gold? $500,000 Bitcoin? I don't know. We'll see. And as we get closer, we'll figure it out. I mean, for me it is. Thank you for appreciating that, right? So a couple of questions before we get into the question over here on FX. I want to finish up this portion of the stream over here. Does it make sense to move Bitcoin to alts at the peak? I move Bitcoin to Ethereum at the top and ride it for a little. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about over here, is at the peak or shortly thereafter. I'll be timing it. I'll be timing it from price, knowing when is the window to jump. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Moving Bitcoin, going long Bitcoin versus altcoins. Yeah, right. Now with institutional investment. Right, that's fine. Yeah, the last bull market, it didn't have high net worth individuals. And the last one did, and the last one started to have some hedge funds. Right, so it's all relative to the price of Bitcoin. The reason Bitcoin's not trading at $5,000 or $8,000 right now, and it's trading at $40,000, is because of those institutionals' money. But the institutional money, especially these funds, when pension funds get involved, they need to quarterly rebalance. That's a new type of selling pressure Bitcoin is not used to. So we'll see what happens there. right? When you have a fund that's up in 3 months and it's up 150%, they have to lighten up their position, right? Do you remember what happened to Kathy Woods and her Bitcoin position in the ARK fund, ARK ETF? You have to exit out of your Bitcoin. So yeah, I don't look. That's going to be the narrative at the top. Over here, everyone's going to be like, whatever Bitcoin's trading at when I exit Bitcoin, everyone's going to be like, well, the institutions are involved and this is a super cycle. We know other people. Raoul Pal yesterday said he's looking in early 2022 for the exit. So you have people whose timings are way off, who are I guess are dialed in or but heavily invested into Bitcoin, and institutions are no different. Do you think that when Tesla was buying Bitcoin, they understood Bitcoin better than you did? Really? Then why did it take so long for Elon? Because it was, what was it, like 6 weeks ago that Elon was having this conversation on Twitter with Michael Saylor and was like, oh, I could do that, right? So how you think Elon knows about the 4-year cycle better than you do? I don't think so. I don't think close. Be very careful with leverage tokens on Binance. Be extraordinarily careful with leverage tokens. Be very, very, very careful. Better trading in the derivatives market, lightly leveraged. Yeah, Joe, we're going to be ready way ahead of time. And there's a lot of time. Yep. Right? We've been clear about this cycle being shorter for the longest time. If you're not watching the work that we do here every day together, listen, I think you're missing out. I think you're missing out. I can't count how many times have I said that this cycle will be shorter and for how long. You really are you have to invest in yourself. There's no way you're going to get this if you're not investing the time. Why short Bitcoin rather than US dollar? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the dollar. This is a great question. I want to provide clarity on that. So why not the dollar, right? Is it possible the dollar outperforms gold? Yeah, it's possible the dollar outperforms gold. I believe gold outperforms Bitcoin even in that scenario. But the thing is that if there's any type of a macro event that causes gold to be repriced or continuing to go bull, I want to be involved in that. The upside there is way greater than it would be in shorting Bitcoin versus the dollar. I thank you, Giles. For me it is. Thank you so much. That's right. It's almost like doing this very, very calmly, in control, because we're in control, right? When the 50-day and 200-day chart, I don't ever follow the 200. I don't follow moving averages or the RSI. How far will the for how long has the RSI been overbought? I don't follow those things, Jason. And there's a reason I don't follow. There's a reason that I'm able to do what I do and I'm so dialed in. And it's because I follow what I follow. So I'm not going to defer to other things. That doesn't make sense. That gets us off signal, right? That gets us off signal. So I'm going to, focus on what I focus on and how I do it. Jordan, are Teslas and MicroStrategy really going to hold through the bear market? I believe MicroStrategy will. I've heard Michael Saylor say that he's going to hold. A public company could do that. A fund cannot. They have to rebalance. So is it possible? Michael Saylor said he's going to hold 100 years. That if he wants to own that Bitcoin, he wants to hold that Bitcoin, and if he wants any type of dollars, he's just going to go ahead and he's going to take out a loan against his collateral. What if we have a double top cycle for Bitcoin? If we have a double top cycle for Bitcoin, I'll be there, right? Remember when Bitcoin was coming into 40,000? I put out that video, a double wave, and go watch that video. It's on the Bitcoin playlist. That's going to prepare you in case there's a double wave, right? So we're prepared for every scenario that could unfold as it's unfolding. Could we be ahead of the curve on this fund rebalancing trade Bitcoin that way? Look, I'm laying out to you the clearest path to trade Bitcoin and how I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing. The easiest, simplest, clearest way. Now the most this is the hardest part. If you're shorting Bitcoin versus altcoins, that's what I'm saying. That's the most advanced. That's the most advanced. It seems like an opportunity too good to pass up. So if that's a good question. If we're having a crisis, then I will be shorting the equity markets, and I did this gloriously here. And if we're having a crisis, I will be looking to do that. I'll be looking in the currency markets to take positions versus commodity currencies. Again, I'll be taking positions with the Swiss franc and Japanese yen against the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar again. What will I do different? The only other thing that I would do different if that type of situation was occurring, if we were having something that would cause that type of correction in the equity markets, that means that we're having some big problems. I would probably be looking to go long gold versus silver. Absolutely. So I don't think we're there if it's happening, right? And we're seeing some type of risk in the markets. People want to own gold, not silver right now. And since the Fed acted, I've said that this is going to continue to go this way, right? That was one of the easiest trades for me, and one that we pointed out was silver continuing to outperform gold at this point, unless there's another crisis, jump back into that trade. That happened back in 2008, the same exact way over here when we had that crisis, and then QE started, right? So that's something new that I would be positioning into and strongly, and that's the reason why I prefer also gold, just in case something happens. The little bit of extra return that silver should make in this environment is not worth me positioning into. The same reason I'm not positioning into altcoins right now, and I'm positioned into Bitcoin. That's awesome, Timothy. That's good for me to hear and understand. For me, what I see and I'm sharing is just what is. So I don't know how that comes across to other people. How long will we have to exit? I don't know. When I exit, we'll exit. When I'm exiting, I'll let you know. We'll see. Whether it's hours or days, we'll see. When you exit out, you exit out of the dollar. Yeah. So yeah, go. You're regardless of what you exit Bitcoin, it's a taxable event. Going into a stable coin first in order to reposition yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, because going in from fiat, or from fiat into crypto, or into Pax Gold, or into physical gold. By the way, you could also, if you want to just own gold in a vault somewhere overseas, for a lot of these places you can send Bitcoin, so your exit could be from Bitcoin directly into physical gold. There's a lot of options. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Jason. And I just talked about exactly that, how you could just transfer directly Bitcoin into physical gold to multiple places, multiple reputable places around the world. Oh, Chris, you meant short in altcoins. Let me read your question again. Not sure what exactly what you were saying over there. Chris, why short altcoins versus Bitcoin rather than US dollar? Right? Because it's a pretty, at that point in the cycle, in the bear market cycle, I understand that Bitcoin is going to outperform altcoins, and by a large margin, so it's a safe trade for me. Do I believe that Bitcoin is also going to, what happens if the dollar, like there's a crisis and the dollar's strong? Bitcoin is going to outperform altcoins. What happens to that 4-year cycle in the bear? I don't know, but there's more risk for me, I believe, against the dollar than there is versus altcoins at this particular point. It's not until 6 months into after the next halving that altcoins should start outperforming Bitcoin, right? So that's a long window where I expect under all circumstances Bitcoin to outperform altcoins. Good question. Jordan, when it comes time to accumulate again, will you be trading FX and other pairs with Bitcoin settled exchanges again? If it's possible, this option was available to some people, is no longer available again. I don't want to get into opening up different types of companies and different jurisdictions, but you just have to follow the law and do what's legal, right? Possible 1 year short Bitcoin lightly leveraged, holding a position throughout the bear market. Well, that's not possible. I mean, that again, not even that. Doing it with gold as the base account, I think that's the trade. Where do you find the chart that averages the Bitcoin bull runs? This is on Twitter, and it's on Halving Tracker. Maybe there's an updated chart. Let me see. It shows up in my feed every few days. I don't know if that's updated or not, and then I just look at it, but that's on Halving Tracker. Pure Vita. Silver up 144%, gold 60% during QE1, S&P up 35%, DS over 1 year. Good stats. Seems like September is the time to start really permanent exit. Yeah. No, what do you mean? So I've been strong on this signal, giving out the date September 21st for a long time. Ever since I admitted, look, I'm wrong. Like it's a shorter cycle and more powerful than the last, Dave. So yeah, that's when I'm ready to exit. When the exit happens, price will determine. I can't give you when the exit happens, it's because price is determining when we're exiting. Thank you, brother. Yeah, Zachary, that's the understatement of the decade. Few understand that. Those that are here, I'm so happy to be sharing with you. It's not for like it's not like this for other traders. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a great strategy, Garcia. It's a great variation of it, right? Very creative thinking, very, very simple, which is what I like most. Usually the simplest option is the best option, right? 50% into Pax Gold. Well, the only thing about, just don't keep everything with BlockFi. I trust BlockFi. I feel good about BlockFi. I hold a lot of funds on BlockFi, but at the same time, do also, if you're holding Pax Gold on BlockFi, for example, collecting that interest, maybe you want to hold this stable coin on Gemini and collect interest. Have all and other things. Jordan, if we see a double top, I'll be right there. If it happens, if it's happening, that I'm gonna kind of know in advance, and I'll be walking everyone through it. Enough said, right? I've shown that if it's happening, I'm gonna know ahead of time, and as it's happening, I'm gonna walk you through it, right? Where are my eyes now in FX? Let's go back to FX. Let's go back first to this question before we get to the edges question. Let's move over to the question over here that we had. I'm trying to find it. It was earlier on. There we go. And this is the question. It says, let me just pull up over here. All right. Jordan, with FX, I know you suggest taking 3 trades a week. If you're holding 3 trades from the previous week, should you be looking to take more trades? Yeah, as soon as your stop loss is moved to break even, it's just a neutral event. As soon as your stop loss is moved to break even, you could then take more trades the following week. If you had 2 trades open and their stop loss wasn't yet moved to break even, as the next week comes up, should you take 3 more trades? No. Wait until you have those stop losses moved at break even. We had another question back closer to real time. I'm trying to find that one. Yeah, but Jason, also, this is something so it'll be interesting to see how DeFi tokens hold up during the bear market, right? The thing that I said I don't know is which altcoins I would be taking versus Bitcoin. Will it be the largest cap tokens, the ones that I feel most liquid and comfortable about, or will it be actually low cap ones, projects that I think that have no chance of success. Either which way, Bitcoin is going to outperform, in my opinion. So I feel comfortable about the trade. DeFi, will I want to stay away from DeFi projects, or will I think that many of them actually melted up way too far, to unreasonable levels for unreasonable expectations, pure speculation, and will those be the ones that I want to target? I don't have the answer to any of those questions yet. No, listen, when silver breaks 50, we'll be seeing what's next. But as far as looking for a top or a price target, no, right? We're talking $100 in 2021. We'll see what happens after and watch what the market's doing. Yeah, so listen, you should explore some conversations on gold, right? I want to get back into the FX question, but if you're asking why hold gold in a different country, gold is, for me, insurance against the system. And if you hold it in your own country and something goes wrong, they could confiscate your gold, right? So is it safer holding a gold overseas in a different jurisdiction? For me, it is. Think about that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just that means a lot to me, by the way. Thank you very much. Let's see what else I wanted to go into. There was a question I wanted to see. No, I'll be exiting on exchanges, not over-the-counter desks. Alt season follows Bitcoin 4-year cycle. Dave, alt season starts approximately 6 months after the Bitcoin halving. It's because of the Bitcoin halving that all occurs. As we're getting to that next time, I'll be talking about it and focused in on it, as I was for a year. For over a year coming into this alt season, I said when it was going to be and why. It turned out to be correct, right? So preparing for the next one, I'll do it again, but that's not where we are right now. I have to focus on where we are, right? Yeah, Kenneth, watch. I did that last week on the Australian dollar, US dollar. So watch the video on the playlist previous, Kenneth, on the Australian dollar, US dollar, where I talked about an example of as it was happening in real time, of a perfectly, high probability, all conquering the markets trades are high probability setups. So I'm not looking for coincidence or like that. I'm never looking for the markets to drop, right? I'm not looking, so I don't know. That doesn't play any type of factor into my thought process. It's a good question, but it doesn't play into my thought process at all. There was a question I'm looking for on Forex. Please give me a second. I'm sorry about that. I'm having trouble finding it. I guess I don't see it. If someone posted the question and if they could repost it, that would be awesome. Either way, let me find back what you guys are saying in real time, and we'll start over there. Can you earn in? Yeah, Celsius is another option. Do your due diligence. I feel more comfortable with BlockFi. So where else? Jason, thank you. Happy Lunar New Year, especially to those in Asia, right? Kenneth's question was a beauty. Let me come back to Kenneth's question just so I'm on the same page as you all, as I like to be. Yeah, there was a beautiful, even a better articulated answer. Watch the live stream, the training session, pushing your winners, which looks at the Australian dollar, US dollar, all conquering the market setups are beautiful. Dylan, February 8th, I took a long on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Price stopped me out and still at support, so I took the long entry again yesterday. Is it bad to do this? Yeah, good and bad, right? So, once you exit a trade, so could you get back into the trade? Is that what you're asking? Where's February? This is last week over here. So, if each trade is an individual event, okay? And it's a series of trades overall by you using all the edges you have. Your entry, where you place your stop loss, your position sizing, which trade you're taking and why, trading with the trend, the time of day you trade, the strong versus the weak, everything that you do to layer edge upon edge, right? Gives you high probability trading where you only need to be right half the time. You could be wrong half the time and be strongly profitable. That's your edge, right? So as long as you're taking a conquering the markets trade, you have a huge edge. So if you get stopped out of one individual trade, could you take a re-entry on that particular pair? Of course. You have an open slate. You have an open slate again. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad practice at all. If we cover FX today, I have a question. If you have any tips on timing trades when you're looking for the next leg up. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Let me just move over to the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, since you're using that as an example over here. So as far as timing the trade, yeah, but if you know you're in an uptrend, buy off support. And if you know you're in a downtrend, sell off resistance. That's the easiest and best way to time the trade. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but that's awesome, Joe. Thank you, brother, very much. Happy New Year for the fellow Asians. That's right. Yeah. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful session. Is there anything else we want to talk about? I mean, obviously the main focus here was what I'm thinking, how I'm preparing for my next move, and I think it's all elegantly beautiful. Even better to be able to share it with you. I'm new to FX. Leverage trading scares me. So when you're trading with margin in FX, I mean, we trade a tiny fraction of our available margin and our account. You're risking 0.5% of your account balance. That is uber strong, risk adverse money management. Now you have to, the only thing you need to do is take the good setups and learn how to manage those trades, including setting your stop loss. You said on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, you were stopped out and then re-entered, Dylan. You have to take a look at your stop loss and say to yourself, this actually was the correct place to place my stop loss. I got stopped out, therefore it's a good trade, and it's just part of the process. Understanding that a portion of my trades will be stopped out, and that's part of the process. Or you have to say, wait, my stop loss was too tight. I should have put it past, lower than the last swing low, at least below this area of support, and my position size should have been a little smaller, and I would still be in the trade. You need to discern that, right? So, but as far as using leverage and margin, I mean, it's very, very, very risk adverse way to trade. No, I'm not, and only because, like, what do you want to hold? Do you want to hold the S&P or you want to hold Bitcoin right now? It's not even comparable. Right? It's not even. Do you want to hold if stocks are going to be devalued? Right? Was it Amazon that was up from $2,000 to $3,000 after the Fed stimulus, or was it actually 30% of dollars were printed and the purchasing power of the dollar was devalued by that much? A lot of people see Amazon stock price going up. They think that they're actually making money, not if your purchasing power is dwindling, right? So you have to, do you want to own gold, which is holding its purchasing power and or increasing it, or do you want to hold the S&P 500, right? Are you trading the S&P 500 lightly leveraged? That's a different story, but for me, equities are risky, so I stay away. Yeah, the Jeffrey, their website does a fantastic job. It's one of the frequently asked questions. It's just go to Pax Gold's website, read the frequently asked questions. So this is one thing when they come up when I'm doing my live sessions and I'm going through FX, I'm very clear about what my thought process is, what I'm focused in on, right? When the Australian dollar, US dollar was into this area over here, I brought everyone's attention to it. Been tracking the euro, British pound. Right, once we broke through the support level over here, you could see that long, beautiful downtrend. Whatever I'm focused in on, and I've been pointing out to you the pound US, the pound Japanese yen, right? Talking about that strong since the new year. It's going on 5 weeks now, 5-6 weeks. This strong appreciation on the pound against almost everything. The strength of the pound. That's where I'm focused. Where, you know, again, I really believe you have to put the time in. You have to watch every live stream every afternoon. If I'm putting it out there, there's value to it, but it's a question of you know, it's not like what's the quick answer. It's how do you do it? How do you think and why? And how do I emulate that in my own way? And that's how it works. So I'm very clear always about what I see. A lot of people focused on different cross pairs, right? You know, whatever they are. But I see a lot of people trading, you know, different cross pairs. I'm not focused there. I haven't been focused there, right? A lot of people I haven't been focused on dollar trades up until this trade on the Australian dollar, and up until I talked about what was going on with this trend line break over here on the pound US dollar. So Japanese yen trading against the Japanese yen. It's been a consistent signal. I just got off a conference call. I have a client putting a lot of Bitcoin there. I feel 9% with them. Yeah, me too. I do also, Rich. I do also. No chance in selling, only profits, taking profits and buying more. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Woody, this is a great question. And that's what it's all about for those that understand. It's all about that battle for the 21 million coins. And you have people like Michael Saylor holding a large allocation saying, I'm not giving them up. I'm not selling my Bitcoin. If I want to borrow against my Bitcoin, I'll do that, but I'm not going to sell it. Is that something you want to do? Right? Is that something that I'm going to do in my corporation? You know, it's different depending on where you are at and why. But it's a fight for those. And a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people who trade in and out of altcoins are doing it not so that they could own more altcoins, but doing it at the end of the day so they could own more Bitcoin. It's all about Bitcoin. So Carl, what's going on? Jordan, how would you trade the pound Australian dollar? Let's pull it up. Pound Australian dollar, right? So below here, you can see the support over here, Carl, this long consolidation. Off of this, a breakdown of the support, coming back up into the resistance. There, sell, right? What about now? Is that still a sell into resist? It is, Carl. You're into resistance in a strong downtrend. I sell. I don't know that I want to trade the Australian dollar versus the pound. To me, the pound is strong, and especially since the new year, that's been something we focused in on. But the Australian dollar is still relatively strong and stronger than most everything else. So do I want to attack the pound versus the Australian dollar? Not really, no. Do I want to maybe, trade the pound versus the Japanese yen, something that's weak? Yeah, I like that idea. The dollar, more so. But the Australian dollar, no. The Australian dollar I know is stronger than the dollar, stronger than most everything else. It's not really the trade that I want to focus in on take. And that's what I'm talking about, where people are focused, on cross pairs. For me, I'm not focused on cross pairs right now at all. Yeah, the live streams are on a schedule, Kimberly, every day at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday, we go live. That's Monday through Friday. We go live at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. We do these live sessions once a week. Those are not on a schedule. They're announced prior to the day. Guys, I'll see you later. Yeah, scalping is not what I do here, Shane. I'm a swing trader. I trade off the 8-hour time frame. If you're not profitable, you have to start there. Period. The end. If you're not profitable, you have to start following the strategy that I outline and articulate in detail in the course. That's the plan. No, of course you should not be scalping, right? If you are, when you're a profitable trader, if you want to scalp, shorter time frames, okay. If you feel that's better for wherever you're at in life, then that's a different thing. But you can't start scalping. You have to follow the course. If you're starting from zero, where do you begin? You begin risking 0.5% per trade, taking 3 trades per week, no more. When you're a little bit more advanced, less, right? And you need to be buying off support and uptrends and selling off resistance and downtrends. That's where you start, Shane. I mean, the commodity bull has been, it was around the summer when Kips really dialed in on that with us. It was around the summertime when we all got pretty much on the right side of that trade. I see a lot of investment banks now talking about it. I think they're very late. I think they're several months too late. Yeah, let's do that right now. We're going to go out with the song over here. Thanks for the session, everyone. Thanks for the session. We're going to go out with this.
Bitcoin, please go to moon. Stop going sideways now. Don't ever say we going down to 1K, but Mr. Novogratz say we have automated.
We're gonna go back to that for sure. There was in the crypto channel, I believe, Todd, but in the Discord channel, in one of the channels, there have been some recommendations on tracking software. You could go there and find that out for sure.
Bitcoin, please go to moon. Stop going sideways now. Don't ever say we going down to 1K, but Mr. Novogratz say we have automated. Novogratz is bullish. Automated. Don't ever rise is bearish.
Bearish target 13 punches.
Novogratz is bullish.
Bitcoin could be at 40,000.
That's so much fun. That is so much fun. Thanks, Gene, for sharing that. There's a good question over here. Listen, as will Bitcoin stabilize the price as the 21 coins approach? Listen, as we go through each cycle, we're going to come to a point in time where adoption is such that the price of Bitcoin stabilizes. Now, I don't think it's this cycle, and I don't think it's next cycle. Is it possible it's the one after that, after Bitcoin overtakes the market cap of gold? That's what I've been pretty strong in signaling. That's where my thought process is. We'll see. I'm timing it as it happens. And if I see something changing that's different, I'll be very quick to adapt to it. You all know that. But for right now, I am not talking about the price of Bitcoin stabilizing or where that will be. Will that be above $1 million that the price of Bitcoin stabilizes? How far above $1 million? I don't have the answers to those because right now I'm tracking this bull market phase, setting up the bear market phase, know when we're accumulating to do it all again, and then in that cycle, looking to overtake possibly the market cap of gold, right? What happens there? And then, well, we're talking, how many years in the future are we talking right now? We got 1 year and then another 5. So if we're talking 5 or 9 years in the future, like let's spend some time together. We got time, right? We got time. We're far from there. And we're focused in on the most important thing that I believe is life-changing and focusing in on the current phase of the Bitcoin bull market. When I say life-changing, in many different ways, right? Money, finance, that's one thing, right? But the thing about money is it gives you choices. It gives you freedoms. So it's a good thing. You could do a lot of good things with it. You all know where my heart is and where my focus is, right? These are the things that I'm looking to build out and will be building out, right? If you go back to the YouTube channel and you go to the About section, from the very beginning, my greatest desire is to help many people around the world live better lives. So yeah, being on the right side of the trade can help you do great things. Everyone, Thank you for the session. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I'll talk to you later.